I went to Italy for the first time when I was 14. I went to Florence to visit my sister, who was 12 years my senior. And we had Euro passes, and we traveled all over Europe. Well, as a 14-year-old from Iowa, I was pretty impressed. And I admit thinking, if I can't even enjoy this unless I know I'm coming back. Well, I did go back 4 years later, and I stayed for 27 years. When I would travel throughout Europe, I was fortunate to go to over 35 countries and all of Italy with my job as director of sales. I would see those quaint city centers, and they were so active and vibrant, and the beautiful architecture. And it would remind me of my own hometown that had beautiful architecture, but it wasn't vibrant anymore. And they'd covered up some of that architecture with nice metal facades. And I used to think, one day I'm going to go back there. I'm going to fix that place up. I would dream about it. I would envision it, the people mingling, the stores, the lights upstairs, the apartments. And never once did I think about, whoa, I'm never going to be able to afford that. I mean, that would cost a lot of money. Or the fact that I never thought I'd move back to the United States. That didn't hinder me either. I just kept dreaming about it. Well, one day, the universe brought me back to Washington, Iowa. And I was there with my Italian husband, and we looked around and we thought, wow, I'm it. Tag, I'm it. I need to do this project that I've been thinking about for 30 years. Who would have ever thought I would be back here? So I traveled all over the world. I had eaten in restaurants all over the world. I love to cook. And I wanted to nourish people's bodies because I'd been in the health field, the nutritional health field. And so I had to come up with a business that would bring people to my community. And so the idea of a restaurant was born. Italians take their food very seriously. They would never, ever compromise on the quality of their food. And when Alessandro and I got to Iowa, we realized that the holy trinity of food was cheap, fast, and easy. In fact, he called his mom on the phone and he says, "Mom, these people eat in their cars." And she said, "Oh, stop talking to me like that. You know no one would eat in their car." And we all kind of giggled because we're all guilty of that. Well, I'd never had a business before, but I had my vision. I wanted a restaurant with an ambiance that would make you feel like you could be anywhere in the world. I wanted to nourish your body so that tomorrow you could get up and do this all over again. And I wanted service that would make you feel like royalty. So I bought some books on it, and I thought, how to open your own restaurant. Well, the title should have been, "Don't Do It." There is not an encouraging word out there to open your own restaurant. The statistics go from 23% to 90% of restaurants go out in the first year. But hey, that doesn't apply to me. I'm growing a community. I'm not just opening a restaurant. I'm not just trying to make money here. I'm trying to make a difference. And so I thought these would not apply to me. So I decided the first thing to do was to buy a building. As I repeat, they had covered up a lot of our buildings in town with these, modernizing them with wooden facades. This is during the renovation. We took the front off and the building started to breathe. And now our building looks like this. We didn't want to leave any stone unturned on this difficult journey. Washington, Iowa has 7,000 people. So when we did the renovation inside, we gutted the whole building. In the 1980s, they wanted to tear it down, so we structurally made it solid for another 100 years. And on the new drywall, we wrote auspicious sayings so that when we painted over it, that vibration would stay in the walls. We visited with a feng shui master in China, and he looked at our floor plans, and we changed the front door so that the energy would flow better. Even the name, this is the restaurant today, by the way. Whoops, sorry. That gutted building turned into that. So even the name is very significant for us. In my work in Italy with an Italian alchemist, he taught us the importance of archetypes. The dodecahedron, the 12-sided geometrical figure that Leonardo loved to draw and to study, both he and Plato said that just by looking at that symbol, it helps us contemplate the divine. We were able to incorporate that into our logo. And then the number 12, the 12-sided geometrical figure, and 12 in our lives, Café Dodici. And so we have 12 months in a year, 12 astrological signs, the 12 deeds of Buddha. There are 12 disciples, 12 tribes, 12 notes in music, 12 hours is divided into 12 and 12. And then we have every major religion has very important number 12 that is significant to them. So our motto is nourishing the home of your soul. Our soul carries, this body carries our soul throughout this lifetime on this earthly journey, and we have a responsibility to keep it up and keep it healthy and happy. So the restaurant opens and the people came. They started coming from everywhere. After a month and a half, we'd already won awards, restaurant awards. People didn't even know we were there. And what I noticed was that my local population thought it was great. They would drive by at night on a busy night and see all the different counties we had attracted and come to me the next day very excited and say, "Oh, Lorraine, you won't believe it. You had this county, this county, this county." And I thought, I had grown up my 30 years in Italy with a glass of wine and a tablecloth for lunch and dinner. And I couldn't understand why they thought my restaurant was maybe too fancy. But my restaurant reflects me. It's my creation. But now that I'm there, what do my people need? What do the people in my community need? And one of the things we hear a lot about today is third places. After we go to work, after we stay at home, and then we go to that socializing place, the third place. So we came up with an idea of a coffee shop, gift shop. So we purchased the building next door, and we opened a coffee shop. We're able to sell local artisan works from our area and give people a place to hang out together and continue to eat nourishing food, even on the go. So after the coffee shop, our guests that were coming from out of town needed a place to stay overnight. So we renovated an apartment above the coffee shop for that to happen. And it's great for the local people, for their weddings, their funerals, and for guests that come, family that comes back to visit them, and for the experience where you eat in the restaurant and stay in a small, quaint downtown center. So this is not the most brilliant business plan that there is. A restaurant, you put a lot of physical labor into that. It's mentally taxing. And I basically work when all the rest of you hang out with your family, on the weekends, at night, and on holidays. So I remedied that problem. There I was smart. I work with everyone in my family. My husband is a creative chef in the kitchen. My niece is a co-owner. My daughter left her high-powered job in New York City to manage the coffee shop. And my beautiful twin nieces have been with us from the beginning, doing whatever needed to get done. But in a small business like ours, everyone becomes your family. After we did this project, however, now I know why I never had to think about how I would pay for this project. My community has an amazing volunteer spirit, and some of them could see my vision, my dream. And they have invested over $15 million in their downtown since we've opened our restaurant. The streets and sidewalks hadn't been touched since the 1940s. So everything got ripped up. That was fantastic, but that was going on for about 2 years and made it very difficult for the new businesses and myself to survive, but we did. And now we have a beautiful streetscape, and in Washington, Iowa, we have outdoor dining. They renovated the Central Park. They renovated the bandstand. They put the new public library on the square. They renovated our movie theater inside and out. There are new businesses. There are apartments upstairs. Buildings have been renovated from the basement up with nightclubs. We have a beautiful new art center. We have an art gallery. And outside of the downtown, we now have a new high school. We have a new hospital. We have a Kirkwood Community Regional Center. And we are continuing to invite and attract young families and professionals back to our area. Had I gone to a few local people when I first got to town and said, hey, you know what, I've got this great idea. I've been thinking about it for 20-some years. We're going to fix this town up. You know, location, location, location. We're close to Iowa City. It's beautiful here. You've got Disneyland architecture. This is what we're going to do. And you know what? Like $15 million, we got it done. And they would have looked at me and said, $15 million? I mean, we don't have any money. But when you teach by example, be the first one to put your foot forward and show people what can be accomplished. They do follow. I had an experience when I was a young girl in school, waiting tables for the first time, that changed the way I move in the world. I had come to work a little bit irritated, and I had two elderly couples at the table, and I started off with the first lady, and she ordered, and I said, well, what would you like with that? Would you like baked potato, French fries, or wild rice? Get to Mr. Number 2, he orders his dinner, and I said, so what would you like with that? Would you like baked potatoes, French fries, or wild rice? Came person number 3, they ordered, and I said, so what would you like? Would you like with that? Would you like baked potatoes, French fries, or wild rice? Well, about that time, I'm about ready to lose my cool. I'm thinking, hey, everybody, I got a job to do here. Let's pick up the pace. Aren't you listening? I'm talking to you. You know, I'm at this table. And in that moment, I thought, wait a minute. Who are these people? Maybe they haven't seen each other in a really long time and they need to catch up. Maybe it's a birthday or anniversary. Maybe it's the last time they'll see each other. And I have the power in my hand to make or break that situation. And I looked at them with love, my heart filled with love. I put a smile on my face and I said, did you want baked potatoes, French fries, or wild rice? So I believe in doing your job like it's a performance. Enjoy the ride. In my business, you need a lot of compassion. You know, people out there, life is suffering. We all have crosses and burdens we bear. And when they come into your business, you don't know where they're at. Or where they came from. Did they come from the funeral home? Did they come from a doctor's appointment? Maybe they're there to celebrate, we all hope, a birthday, an anniversary. Maybe tonight they'll get engaged. So you really have to have a lot of patience and kindness. And every one of my employees, from the dishwasher to the server you see, does their job as a performance. My chef has been with me since he was just a child. His little brother got him a job as the dishwasher, and then he waited tables, he was a busser, and he ended up in my kitchen, and today he runs my kitchen. And we had a Christmas party this last Christmas, and to get to know each other even more, we have something called table topics with little questions on them. So everybody gets one. He turns his over, and it says, what is your favorite view? And he said, this downtown square, because it didn't look like this when I was growing up. My niece and co-owner won an award called 40 Under 40. 40 entrepreneurs making a difference in the area. And they could each give an acceptance speech, except that every word was going to cost them $25, and that money then went to charity. So she thought and thought about what she wanted to tell the world with her few words, and she said, do what you love. And I would like to add on to that, love what you do. Whatever job you're doing now or will do, enjoy your performance. Think of the vibration that you can create in a place where love is present, where people are nourishing their bodies, restoring their bodies, sharing, talking, rekindling old friendships. And this is the way that I change the world a little bit at a time, because that love and that vibration makes just that much less hate and disagreement. So nourish your body and your soul. Live your dream, no matter how big or how small. Support each other, invest in each other. Be a leader by example. And remember Gandhi's beautiful words, be the change you want to see in the world. Thank you.